YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of 2A-N-LA. As always, anything that I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. You should not take it as fact. You should not take it as a law. Always do your own research and come up with your own conclusions. All right? Look, before we get it rolling, I'm going to go ahead and ask you right now, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Leave a comment, share, hit the notification bell so you get all the videos. Just go crazy, all right? All right, let's get it cracking. So look, today's episode is, I think, an important episode in that it speaks to, I think, a lot of concerns that people have. If you have your concealed carry license, or if you're thinking about getting your concealed carry license, there's a lot of question to where you should carry. And a lot of people, especially men, feel very uncomfortable with the thought process of appendix carry, which is carrying your weapon right up front. And so I think first we should talk about where you can put it. Well, first of all, you can put it wherever you want to put it. But common practice is either our appendix, which is right up front, on your hip, on your, in kind of like a 4 o'clock position, and in the small of your back. To me, the small of your back is too far reach. The 4 o'clock is okay. The hip is good, but a little bit harder to conceal because now you've got something that's not even. It's kind of unnatural, right? That's on your side. And then you got appendix. Okay, and I'm assuming we're talking about inside the waistband, not kind of outside open carry, but concealed carry. And so I think by far the most efficient in terms of having to protect yourself, the most efficient draw is appendix carry. It's right here. It's a quick lift and pull and put it on target. Very, very, if you train, very, very fast, right? I think the concern is nobody wants to blow off their junk, right? You want to keep that intact. That may be your most important weapon. And so you don't want to risk that. I guess more importantly, you don't want to die either, right? The thought that you could, the gun accidentally goes off, it could hit, you have accidental discharge, it can hit an artery. And so that's the criticism of a lot of people that, oh, if it goes off, you'll hit you'll hit your femoral artery and you'll be dead. Okay, look, guys, you gotta, there has to be some thought in this. There is no good place for an accidental discharge if the gun accidentally discharges and it's concealed on your person. If the gun is on your hip, chances are it's going to kind of cant inward, right? Okay, it's going to hit the same, you're going to hit an artery, you run the risk of hitting an artery there as well and bleeding out. That's the concern. Even if it's at the 4, same thing. So there's no good place to all those positions that I discussed are potentially lethal in the event of an accidental discharge, because the cant is kind of always like going in towards your body. And so, you know, the realer question is, what would cause an accidental discharge? Guns don't go off by themselves. They don't mystically, magically just go off, right? Something you have to pull the trigger. You have to pull the trigger. So now, the real risk is if you don't have a good holster. I think you should be much more concerned that you have a holster that's going to cover the entirety of the trigger. All right? That's really, really important. You have to have a holster that's going to cover the entirety of the trigger. Something that's hard, not something that's soft, not something that, you know, if a finger accidentally pushed in it or something like that, it could cause a trigger to move. Get you a good Kydex holster that has good retention, and you should be fine. You should be fine. right? And so if you've got a good holster, the holster will protect you from going off. So really the only risk at that point is when you take the gun out of the holster. Okay, so there's only two reasons to take the gun out of the holster. Number one is if you're planning on using it. And number two is when you're removing it because you're no longer concealed carrying, right? I can 100% help you eliminate one of those risks. When you're out and you're concealed carrying or whatever, for some reason you come home and you no longer need to conceal carry, you want to take it off. Or for some reason you're out and you're going into a building that doesn't allow you to conceal carry, and so you have to remove it. Remove the entire holster, not the gun. Okay? So instead of pulling the gun out and then undoing the holster, no. Undo the holster and pull the holster and the gun out together. Now you're 100% protected because that trigger guard is being covered, right? So we've just eliminated one of the two major threats with removing the gun, right? The second one is if you're actually drawing down. This requires training. So there's a couple of ways that you can address this. One of the ways I'm going to suggest is going to make people lose their freaking minds. But I don't care, because I think it's important that you carry. I think it's important that you feel comfortable carrying, because if you don't feel comfortable carrying, you won't carry. And so for all you people who are about to go ballistic and say, oh, no, don't do that, you're going to get yourself killed, whatever. You gotta do what makes you feel comfortable. And so if you're new to concealed carrying, you're uncomfortable, you're worried about an accidental discharge, so much so that it's going to prevent you from carrying, I'll say this: don't leave one in the pipe. Okay? Don't leave one in the pipe. So even if the trigger accidentally does go off, there's nothing there to shoot, right? Pull, rack, and put it on target. Is that ideal? Is it faster to already have one in the pipe and just pull and put on target? Of course. But if you train, it's a fraction of a second, right? Difference. And a fraction of a second, it could be the difference between life and death. But if you're not going to carry at all because you're so paranoid about an accidental discharge, then the fraction of a second is better than not having a gun at all. And I know a lot of people who were when they first started concealed carrying, never kept one in the pipe. Because they were too worried. They were like, if I don't have the half a second it takes to rack it, okay, they won. And so, but what they found was that after a certain amount of time of getting comfortable and training with a holster and getting used to drawing their weapon, all of a sudden having one in the pipe wasn't an issue or a concern anymore. So again, like baby steps, right? Baby steps. You have to start somewhere. I know people who were so like freaked out about concealed carry that they carried just the holster. They just, no gun. They just literally put on the holster and got used to having a holster on them. Got used to how it felt. Tried it in different spots until they felt comfortable. Then they started doing it with a gun that was unloaded. Then they started doing it with a gun with a clip in it. Then they got to the point where they were comfortable one in the pipe, which is really how you should rock it. So I say training builds comfort, builds confidence. And when you feel confident, then you'll be in a much better position to conceal carry. But in theory, all those people who are like, oh, I would never appendix carry, it's too dangerous. Guys, chances are, absent immediate medical attention, if you have an accidental discharge in any position, it has the potential to be lethal. And so don't think, oh, I got it on my hip, or I got it on my 4 o'clock, so I'm good. And you don't put forth the proper safety measures and protocols, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So it doesn't matter whether it's in your appendix, whether it's on your hip, whether it's at the 4 o'clock, whether it's in the small of your back, wherever you got it, you have to practice proper safety protocols. And the main thing that I want to stress to you is get you a good quality, hard-cased holster that completely enshrouds the trigger mechanism. Okay? Because that ultimately is what protects you. And when you're ready to no longer conceal carry for the day, don't remove the gun. Remove the holster and the gun simultaneously at the same time so that trigger guard remains covered while you're removing it from your person. And if you have to draw, train. Train, 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 train. And if you are so freaked out about not about accidental discharge that you won't carry, then still carry, but don't leave one in the pipe until you get comfortable enough where you figure you have your processes mastered, so you won't have to worry about it. Okay? So that's my opinion, just my personal opinion. If you guys think differently, definitely let me know down in the comments. All right? Until next time, YouTube family, take care of one another, and peace.